Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time since I've posted anything, and I'll have to apologize for that. I've had a lot of things going on in my life, which I won't get into detail, but involves divorce, moving, and my father passing away. So, as you can understand, I haven't been able to pay attention to my channel like I'd like to. There's much uh, more important things to do than this, so I kind of had to step away and take a break. Uh, and I would have liked to have done a more of a step-by-step tutorial of how I did this model, but I kind of, in the last 2 months, I really just kind of shotgun this build to get it done, and I wasn't able to do the you know step-by-step tutorial. Just had too much going on. But I'll before I start showing the model, I'll give you a brief rundown of what I've done to it. Um, a gentleman named Troy Deal, who you'll find on Facebook, does a lot of wrecked model cars, which he really inspires me on to do these models. His work is phenomenal, and one of the tricks that he uses is he actually uses tinfoil for making wrecked fenders and other things. And if I remember right, I did a quick video on how to do that as well. And this one's probably my most detailed build so far. As you can see, the front left fender is crushed. Not too terrible bad, but it's pretty smashed. And also, I made the headlight bezel on the driver's side out of aluminum foil. Also, the grill, I took a Dremel to the back side of it and thinned it out so that it was so you could see through it. And in the process, it kind of melted it a little bit, which actually works out fine because I needed to be damaged anyway. Um, this also has the photo etch parts right there and the little grills above the headlights. Uh, I also cut open the trunk lid, rested the floors out. The rag top on it is literally a rag top. It, it's I cut the roof open to where it's the fabric is falling through, which I did with a Kleenex. The seats are ripped. I made springs poking out through the seats. Um, what else have I done? Um, I wired and plumbed the engine. The air cleaner, I actually also cut off the original snorkels that were on it because they were molded shut. So I cut those off and used uh, plastic tubing, which I crushed to be more of an oval shape, glued those in. Also, the the tail pipes are hollow. I just used, uh, plastic tubing and just little details that makes it so much better. I have photo etch parts, like I said, for the grill, the emblems, some of the dash pieces. I used um, gauges, or found on eBay. There's a gentleman makes some gauges. They're not actually decals; they're just on printed paper. So I really wish they were decals, but you can take what you can get. So, like I said, hopefully on the next build I do, I'll do more of a step-by-step process so they can get an idea of what I do to these cars, and so you can learn. I really enjoy building these cars. A lot of people ask me how I do it, and they're just amazed on the work I do to it. And I'm here to tell you that nothing I've done here is anything that I learned or that I came up with on my own. I've learned all this stuff by watching people on Facebook, YouTube videos. So if you want to build one of these, just do your research and just do it. Just do it. You can do it. I think it's easier to build these than it is a nice shiny paint job, because I am terrible at doing nice shiny paint jobs. So with all that said, I'm gonna take the top off, and I'll probably take the hood off here so we can get a good look at the engine. If I can do that. The hood's, you know what, I'm not going to take that hood off because it's a little bit finicky. So, I wish I could. But I did leave the air cleaner off so you can see the carburetor. There is the engine. It is I use a Panaline accent from Tamiya to get all the oil on it. And then I also used an old there's a testers used to make a like an oak wash for, I use that for dirt. You can see it's got the coil on the firewall, which is wired to the distributor. The ground wire goes directly to the block from the battery. Power wire goes to the starter. I added a fuel line from the fuel line, which actually was molded in from Monogram, and then I ran a wire down to the fuel pump to appear as a fuel pump. I'm sorry, a fuel line. And you can also see the photo etch grills that I use there. It's not really showing up that well, but it's much better than using the original plastic piece. The car is kind of supposed to be depicting a car that would have been around in about wrecked about 1963, and then pretty much got shoved off in a field somewhere and left to rot. Like I said, the hood and this fender is made out of aluminum foil, and how I did that is basically cut the parts off, wrap tinfoil around it, carefully pull the foil off as best you can without getting it too distorted, and then wrinkle the fenders the way that you like. Fill the backside in with super glue and an accelerator until it has some firmness to it. Otherwise, obviously, it would just smash every time you touched it. I did the same thing with the side trim piece, which on this Monogram kit is actually a separate piece, so that added to the realism. I was able to make two different pieces. That piece is not exactly tight up against the body. I didn't do the flat tire trick on this one because of the sidewall inserts are actually plastic, and I was just trying to get this done quick and didn't get the just simply didn't take the time to do so. I spent most of my time on the interior and the trunk lid on this kit. And try to get in here and show you the details I did on that. So I took floral wire, bent it up, made it look like seat springs, and then I cut the seats open where they're worn to where you can see into the through the seats. There's as you can see, there's debris underneath the seats. There's I found a little punch on that actually makes leaves. So all those leaves are actually leaves that I punched out with that punch. I also ripped open the convertible top well, which would be rotten out too. I put some leaves in there. Try to get a picture of the dash here. So those are the gauges that I found on eBay, and along with the that's a photo etch piece there, and the steering wheel. That's a photo etch piece there too. try to get a little more light in there. So, a bunch of junk on the floor, leaves. Some of that garbage that's just sitting on the floor is actually this like steak seasoning that I put like a panel wash above it to darken it up. Those are the fender skirts that came with it. I made it appear like you just, when they gave up on the car, they just threw some pieces in there. They were done with it. And then we move on to the trunk. More leaves. A friend of mine printed the most of the debris that you see there in the trunk, the propane tank, the cinder block, and that milk crate. And there's one of the hubcaps, and as you see, it's got rust holes and surface rusts inside the trunk. Oh, and another feature I did was not only did I cut open the trunk lid, I made like the inner structure of it like a real car would. Probably doesn't really depict it the way a 59 Impala trunk lid looks, but that's how most cars would have looked back in the day. And like I said, I'm trying to depict a car that was wrecked in the early 60s and then just parked. One of the other tricks I use for rust is actually cinnamon. So I do a salt chipping technique for areas like that trunk lid, and with the Rust Effects paint, which I used to get it from Hobby Lobby, but apparently you can't get it there anymore. But that's what I use for my rust. That's what I use for the rust streaking on the sides. And then on the underneath side here, I have use the Rust Effects paint underneath there, along with the black and a rust primer. I cut open the mufflers, put some more plastic tubing in there to make it look like rotted out mufflers. I don't know if you can see the tailpipe, which is that's a little bit tricky to see. Maybe you can see it better on this side. There you go. Just used regular, styrene tubing that's hollow. I'm trying to think what else other tricks I used on this one. Close up of the just want to focus on my hand. But anyway, I used just regular tubing on that. And then the other thing I'd like to show off is the convertible top. That's the original top, which I just cut the center sections out, made it look like it's fallen in. I put tissue paper over it and wet it down with Mod Podge, and then cut it open, weathered it with the brown wash, and then the back windshield is a piece of screen protector for your phone, which it shatters. So, but that's about it. I've been working on this on and off for about a year. So next weekend I'm going to a show in St. Louis, Missouri. It's actually Kirkwood, the Kirkwood Model Car Show. And hope I do pretty well with it. I'm not even sure what class I should put it in. They don't have a patina class. It's just So I'm either gonna have to put it in like a stock class, or maybe I think they have a diorama. It's not a diorama, but it's diorama slash miscellaneous. So I'm not even sure what what class it's going to go in, but hopefully it'll do well wherever it gets stuck at. And but thanks for checking in and watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And also, if you get a chance, I'm trying to breathe some life back into my Facebook group, which is Rusty Rex and Rat Rods. So if you get a chance, like that page, and you'll find more builds like this. It's been a while since I've had much going on there, so I'm hoping to kind of revive that page. So if you don't mind, check it out. Thanks again. See you next time.